Hey guys, I'm Jax, and this is my spoiler review for the first 3 episodes of Season 4 of The Boys. Oh, how good is it to finally be living back in the horrible, horrific, sexually perverted world of The Boys. The Boys is back, and they are boysing harder than ever before. Yeah, the duality of this show is almost unlike anything else, where I find it so enthralling and entertaining and just so captivating on a really like a heavy, intense kind of, in the lamest way possible, thinking kind of way, where I'm like, ooh, politics, corporate America, celebrity culture, but superheroes. And then on the other hand, I'm like, man, did you see that moment when the guy duplicated himself and ate himself out 10 times? That was pretty gross. Is that the only moment I remember? No. Mostly. I had to take notes. As soon as that happened, I'm like, I have to go back and check I took any notes, because now that is literally the only thing I remember from any moment of The Boys that I've seen so far. I think something was happening with plot and stuff, but I was just like, that's Chuck from Supernatural. I never really thought I would see so much of Chuck. So many and so much of Chuck from Supernatural. Oh, Eric Kripke, the creator of Supernatural and The Boys. I love how Eric Kripke's like, you love people from Supernatural? Now they're in this show. We've got Dean Winchester. Yes. We've got John Winchester. Hell yes. We've had Bobby for years. Hell yes. Again. Chuck, on the other hand. Yay. But, luckily enough, I'm not 15, so that's not the only thing I have to say. I have lots of deep thoughts about characters. Specifically, the Deep, and Homelander, and really just the superheroes. I may touch on the titular The Boys, but also I'll check the runtime, and I have a feeling I will not have time for any of them. The Boys is maybe the only show where the titular part of the show is the worst part of the show. Who's watching The Boys for The Boys, and not watching The Boys for the 7? I can't imagine anybody is. If you are, what are you doing? We're here for Homelander. I don't agree or like him, but there's something about a villain who loves to drink milk that I find deeply upsetting, truly traumatic, and no one drinks milk more than Homelander. You might be thinking, hey, in Clockwork Orange, they're at a milk bar. Not like a milk bar that you're thinking like we have in Australia, which is like the Servo, or like the shop down the road, the shop in the corner. No. They're at a bar, where you drink alcohol, but they're drinking milk, because they are psychos and they're awful. No, Homelander's worse, because I don't know what it is. There's something in Anthony Starr's face and eyes when he acts that I just go, I hate everything about this, but I also love it and find it oddly captivating. It's... Rewatching season 2 and 3, I've realized he's maybe one of the best villains ever put to screen. I feel like maybe the entire cast of Breaking Bad is up there, the entire cast of Game of Thrones, they're up there, and then just Homelander, just sneaking up, maybe above most of them. Just so good. They've taken something that's just what if Superman, but he sucks. But there's so many captivating layers, and he's so human, and he's trying to be a dad, and all of that stuff's delightful. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Mother's Milk, but I have nothing to say about his character, except for the fact that his beard is gone. Where's the beard gone? I don't like that he doesn't have a beard. He's got this horrible little spindly little mustache. It took me a full episode. Honestly, at one point, straight away, I'm like, they've recast him. Have they recast him? He just, everything just looked off. Because he didn't have the beard. Just like a little baby boy. Just so odd. But on the switcheroo on the opposite side of that, Frenchie. Never really thought Frenchie looked great. I feel like he could look better. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just saying that his fades now, his cool young hip guy fade and a bit of growth on the top. Ooh! He's looking the best he's ever looked. Oh, Frenchie looks good. Shame that Kimiko doesn't want to have sex with you. But does it matter when you got a sexy hunk guy or whatever's going on with that other guy? Plot and stuff, he says, oh, I'm a murderer and I suck. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because if it's a show about superheroes, I'm here to watch the superheroes. They got the magic powers. I want to see them do stuff. I don't know why. I don't care about his redemption arc and being I'm sad about people dying. When the Deep is just truly irredeemable, and I'm like, oh, I love how they keep trying to redeem the deep. They're just like, how about some empathy here? How about some empathy over here? Color it with a little bit of, he's such an idiot, but you kind of find that charming and kind of likable because he's just so dumb. I can't get enough of the deep. And yet Frenchie, who's also sucks, but you know, you're meant to like him, I just don't care. Oh, also Huey's here and he's like, oh, my mum's back and I'm sad. So the boy's biggest strength, all outside of showing horrifying, sexual, perverted superheroes, the gore, and the politics and the things and the celebrity culture, all the things the boys does. The thing that really, really draws me to this show is the fact that this show just loves to make a truly, completely, unequivocally irredeemable character. And then they just slowly drip feed you scenes, moments, backstory, little character arcs here and there, and they just keep going, how about a little bit of empathy here? How about a little bit of empathy here? Just a little bit of empathy here. And they just drip feed you all this juicy, emotional, very human stuff, and then by the end of season 3, you're like, I have never felt more emotion to anyone in this show than the Deep, who from the first episode is like the worst one. Well, A-Train's pretty bad too, and Homelander is horrendous in every way. Well, they're all awful, but I don't know, something about the Deep, something about his arc through the cult, just, I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that they're like, what if Aquaman, but an idiot, but we're not just gonna take the idea of Aquaman has sex and talks to fish. We're not just going to like say it as a joke. It's like, no, he'll have sex with fish and there will be strong, deep, emotional character beats and arcs for the character. Like, he like feels real. Like, he feels like a caricature and a literal, just very blunt parody of Aquaman, but just also just like a fully fleshed out, real, true human being that exists. This amphibian, gilled human being. And just the way they have slowly created this character and just kind of morphed him from this very obvious, blunt, kind of horrible sexual pest and just created something very interesting, very compelling, and someone who I very much empathize with, even though I don't condone and he sucks and he's awful, of course, all the things. But that's what's so good about a show that feels like it should be on HBO. They make evil characters and you go, sometimes not so evil. If the world is filled with the boys, not the boys from the boys, but the world of the boys, where everyone apparently is a sexual pest and everybody sucks. Man, do I like watching the Deep live in this horrible universe. Sure, he's an idiot. Sure, he's an... Oh, I went to say idiot twice, but I guess that's just how dumb he is. I felt the need to say it twice. It Freudian slip of needing to say he's an idiot twice, because he's such an idiot. But I really find him, like, not charming, but just, like, likable in just this really compelling, interesting way. Of course, as I said, like, were they all the characters? They suck, they suck. Obviously, they're awful people. I wouldn't want to have a beer with him if he existed in the real world. But man, do I love watching him just, like, navigate this, like, working at the Seven. I particularly love the new introduction, or, like, the kind of... like the more kind of in-depth kind of like side of his like fish abilities, because we've seen him interact or talk to like fish or octopuses with Timothy originally. He's begging for his life, don't make me eat him, which is still probably the biggest death the show has done. And I now feel like his bigger octopus girlfriend will be the saddest death of this season. It feels inevitable in this horrible way. I kind of have a feeling that it'll be Homelander once again who makes him kill, maybe even eat his octopus girlfriend. Some people might be afraid of Frenchie or Huey dying. I couldn't care less. They are never in any peril. I don't feel anything towards them in terms of stakes of who can die. Game of Thrones level of like, who can die? Anyone can die. No, none of the main characters can die. The Deep's girlfriend, who's an octopus, she absolutely can die, and I am very worried for her. And so I love the idea that we've heard him talking to the fish and all that stuff, but now we get to hear like his perspective, where he actually hears the fish, and it's this beautiful, like, sexy lady voice. Of course it's a sexy lady voice. Well, I guess what else would it be? But like, yeah, I just love all of that. I love the idea that, like, okay, so no one wants him having sex with an octopus, bestiality, Peter's on his ass. And so they've told him to stop having sex with an octopus. But he's like, no, I will not. So he's locked her in a cupboard. And it's just like, It's like a plot in a show where it's like, well, they don't want you to have sex with your girlfriend because she's different. She's from a different culture or a different this or a different that. They don't understand your love. And they play it like that type of plot, but she's an octopus. It's just utterly delightful. So, let's talk Homelander. So Homelander has 3 plots. Sun plot. New superheroes in the 7 plot. He's sad because he's aging. Let's talk about the obviously most kind of human and the one that relates to me the most. And it's not the kid one. I know I look like I'm old enough to have a kid, but no. On an unrelated note to how old people do or do not look or are potentially, Homelander has always been obviously just like he's like, Superman, but he's evil. But the way they have made Homelander have so many flaws, feel so human, have so many kind of almost pitiful human traits that make you empathize and sympathize with him and understand why he is completely just, he's lost it. He is an insane man. He is broken and damaged beyond repair. But there are so many aspects of this, and the way he kind of brings it out in his performance, Anthony Starr, just... Who would have thought that Sheriff Hood from Banshee would be his worst performance? His need to be loved and adored has always been at the center front, the center stage of his personality and his wants and needs. But this season, it takes a little bit of a backseat for the first 3 episodes, and we really start focusing on his need to kind of create a legacy for himself through his son. But the way they kind of do that and frame it, which I found really interesting and horrifying for nothing related to my own life, just a thing that I think about how other people might be dealing with it, and that is that he's aging. We get not a montage, but like kind of a reoccurring thing in these episodes where he looks down and sees his pubes going grey, and he's got a jar with them, which... He's a weird guy. I'm not saying I'm a weird guy, but I understand his deep sadness to seeing a grey hair and being like, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem fair. I don't like any of this. Is what Homelander would be thinking in that moment when he sees the grey hairs. I couldn't even comprehend. I couldn't even fathom. I'm just empathizing because I'm like that with people. I wouldn't know what that would feel like. But it made me sad, and I went, geez, wow, Homelander, genuine, actual monster of a man. I'm feeling it, brother. And so at the end of last season, when Homelander finally got his son on his side, and he blew that guy's brains out, and he's like, laser vision in the bar, but they're all cheering, they love me. There was a moment with his son where his son kind of does like a little creepy smile, and we end the season on that. And I guess I kind of just presumed that the son... I don't even know his name. We're just going to call him his son. The kid, I thought would be like kind of more on board with the kind of more kind of perverse, horrifying side of Homelander, and that Homelander would kind of not botch being a dad so quickly. Whereas kind of almost just out of the gate, he doesn't seem like he's like a good dad. Not that, obviously he's not going to be a good dad, like a genuine good dad. But I just kind of felt like, I don't know, I guess just you end a season on like a little kid smiling when a head gets blown off. You're kind of like, the kid's actually perverse inside, and seeing the first glimpse of kind of something horrifying, something's kind of turned and snapped inside of him. Not really. Like, I don't really get the sense that, I don't know, that smile almost feels like a fake out. Because he's kind of like, oh yeah, he's my dad. I gotta be like my dad. But like the first sign of any violence or any horrible things, he clearly has like empathy for humans. He clearly is passionate, and like he has this kind of caring side to him that Homelander is completely lacking due to his upbringing and all the things. And so I kind of did expect this season to kind of be like a full season of like, now, like there's been a to and fro between Butcher and Homelander of where the son's gonna land after the mom died. And now I thought, oh, we're gonna be with Homelander. Whereas it seems very clear now that the kid's clearly on Butcher's side. And at first, I found that a little disappointing. I was like, I don't know if I like this kind of plot point, this kind of idea of taking the kid away from Homelander so quickly. But I feel like by the end, and it was a moment where Butcher and the kid were playing foosball, and I think, that was like maybe the peak of like, in terms of emotional feeling of the entire 3 episodes. I was like, that really hits home. It's a great scene. Butcher was amazing. The kids does really well. And he has the cookies. He's going to kidnap him. And then by the end of the scene, he throws the cookies away. Just like spectacular stuff. Really loved all of that and how Butcher is growing as this character who could potentially at the end of the series, if everything works out, be some kind of father figure that he never could have been at the start of the show. And just all of that stuff in that I really liked. So I have kind of turned around. Like, I feel like if I'd done a review of the first or the second episode, I'd have been like, well, I don't really like the idea that the kid isn't just going to be mini Homelander for at least like most of the season, 6-7 episodes, and maybe have a turn at the end. Because I understand if Homelander's immortal and invincible and all that stuff, like the end of season 5, which has now been announced, season 5, final season, love it. Love that there's an end game. Everything feels so much more permanent and secure. We're not going to go off to 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons, Supernatural style, ironically, but we're going to lock in for 5. Wow. That's what Eric Kripke thought last time. But I feel like it's permanent this time, and I'm really keen for that. And so obviously the final 2 episodes of season 5 will be them killing Homelander. I don't think the show has the balls to like have him win, even though I think that would be pretty great. Like the last shot of the series is him with just like 6 new members of the 7, and Ashley's there pulling out like her wig and just sitting there being like, oh my god, and he just wins. I think that would like work for what this show is and does, and the pessimistic kind of side of humanity it kind of shows a lot of the time. And kind of maybe do what I thought Game of Thrones was going to do for a long time. But I don't think they're going to do that. So I guess you end the show with Homelander getting killed, because once he dies, who cares about the show? It's nothing. You've got to have the boy be against him. Otherwise, who's going to fight him? Whipping out a character that's not been in the show for most of the series to like finish him in an endgame situation doesn't work. It does appear that they're getting rid of the idea of the boys, the titular boys that I totally don't hate and they're totally fine. They're not using superpowers anymore. That seemed like a season 3 gimmick. Or, situation plot point. So, yeah, I guess the kid's got to be like, now I fight the Homelander. My dad, emotion and stuff. So, yeah, I guess he's got to side with Butcher. I don't know. It's interesting how it's kind of toot and fro. I like it. I mostly like it. The kid is doing a pretty good job. Also, every single time he was like pushing him, he's like, you can push me harder, I can take it. I'm like, oh my god. When they do it for real, he's gonna kill that guy. I kind of thought he'd just push his hand all the way through him or something, and the guy would be sitting there being like, blah, blah, blah. But he just flicked him like a rubber band, and he flew like 200 feet and splattered on a wall. This show, like, I knew it was coming for like 45 minutes, and then when it happened, I was still utterly delighted and horrified and all the words and things. It's a good show. I also really enjoyed how there was a trial for Homelander, but it wasn't like the center stage of like an episode. It wasn't like, first episode, Homelander killed that guy. The trial, will he get off? Won't he? It's like, no, we don't worry about any of that. They were doing a trial, yeah, but it's just like most things in this show, it's just PR. It's just marketing. It's just a formality. We're just like doing it because we gotta do it. What would happen if they convicted him of guilty? What are you going to do? Lock him up? You can't lock him up. It's Homelander. Like, what are they... I don't know. I really enjoyed that they still go through these kind of human situations where it's like, gotta have a trial. But he's so big and powerful. Oh my god, it might be a metaphor. He's so big and powerful that he'll just get off. It doesn't matter. It's a pointless endeavor. It's this pointless trial. It's a pointless trial of trials. It's just juicy stuff. And I just really liked how it was like not center stage, but it's just like, it was sparking all these other things. Like Homelander's trying to create like this narrative with the killing of Todd and the other 2 guys, and there's the riot and all this stuff, and that's outside and because of the trial itself, we see like in a montage of Homelander just dealing with stuff. The trial's there and they're like, like it's not even a moment or a scene or like like, it's not like a thing. Like, we didn't do like a Law and Order Homelander episode. They went, yeah, we're doing this, but I mean, we're not going to focus on it because he's going to get off. Of course he's going to get off. I don't know. I just found that very powerful and like clever writing and storytelling. He'd emphasized it in such a good way by not emphasizing it. I feel like my only critique would really, or maybe my only 2 critiques of this season so far in these 3 episodes would be like the action is just kind of same, but the same. Like, there's a guy and he does a power and they shoot everybody. And everybody that's not a main character that's been introduced in the last episode and a half dies. Gory, it's horrifying, it's completely insane. But none of it felt like, oh, that's new, that's different. Oh, that's something that is interesting for like a character moment or this. It's like the gore just felt a bit like, psh, And I think the worst case for that, which kind of leads into my second issue, is when we're doing Vought on Ice. Superheroes on Ice! And I was like, Queen Maeve is singing about, like, cancel culture, about, like, you can't even say Merry Christmas anymore. Oh, the state of the world. But it's on ice! Oh, do you see? They combine those two things and they're doing a parody. Do you get it? And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's fine. And they're all doing around. And then Homelander tries to kill Huey, but he kills a bunch of the other people. And you're like, God, it's chaos. That, I feel like, was one of the weaker action scenes maybe in the whole show. I've never really felt like this, and maybe it's just because a friend mentioned it to me when I told him season 5 was over. He's like, oh yeah, it feels like sometimes there's not stakes and they're not, like, killing main characters. And, like, now it's 5 seasons and it's going to be done. Maybe we'll start to, I guess, like, the implication was that we'll start to see those moments. And it's funny because I never really thought about it like that, where it's like, yeah, they haven't killed any main characters and they really just kill superfluous side characters. And all the seasonal big bad superhero from season 2 and 3, even though they don't really die, they're just like comatose or whatever in their respective seasons. But they're superheroes, so they're hard to kill or whatever. But it's like, I hadn't really thought about it like that. But it's like, yeah, they don't like kill main characters. And I've never really felt that that's an issue with the show. But looking at these 3 episodes, I would say the biggest issue I had was in that scene where Homelander's like laser beaming around trying to kill Huey. No tension. No dramatic stakes, no emotional feeling, just like, yeah, the gore's cool and fun. Look at them run about as gore. He killed the ice skating Queen Maeve. That's fun. It's fun. But we're at season 4 now, you'd think maybe at some point we're going to like kick into a moment where like Huey's in danger. Because I never felt for a single second in that moment that Homelander would actually kill Huey. He's trying to kill Huey. And like for a lot of the show, like at the start of this season, Huey throws the acid and they think the acid might work and actually hurt a superhero. And it doesn't. The head popping political lady. And he throws it on her and she's like, well, I can't kill you because you've got a thing on me. So if I kill you, someone else you know at some point will release the thing. So it's like there's like a truce. There's like a mutual self-destruction truce. And like Homelander won't kill Butcher because Butcher means something to his son and he wants his son to, he wants his son to love him, even though he doesn't really know what that means. And I don't even know if he actually wants his son to love him, but Homelander wants something from his son because he's aging, his legacy, all these things. He thinks he wants a son, but I don't think he really wants a son and all this stuff, but he won't kill Butcher because of that. So there's like this mutual self-destruction kind of situations, or there's lots of reasons for lots of different characters to not kill each other. But then you have an action scene where it's like, Homelander's trying to kill Huey. Just kill him. I don't, like, he's like laser beaming around, but like, where is he? Just fly up, wreck, just destroy the entire building. Kill him. But he can't because it's a show where Huey has to keep surviving. So I think that is the weak element of the show, where they don't really feel like they have the balls, which is odd for a show that loves to show people's balls and explode them in blood, but they don't have the balls to kill people like that are main characters. Somehow, Noir returned. Oh boy, I was so keen to see how they would bring back Noir. I kind of figured it wouldn't be him being resurrected or anything. They would just be like, just get a new guy in the suit and don't tell anyone that he died, to kind of keep up the appearance of the Seven. But I just expected him to be the same kind of silent killer parody of Batman and other silent superheroes as Black Noir has been. He'd be a silent character that wouldn't speak. That moment where he just goes, wow, that was crazy, guys! I speak! Just my brain exploded. I bloody loved it so very much. New Noir is awesome. I love that he's just like an actor guy. He's just like, I don't feel like you're giving me enough as Noir. Like, what does Black Noir really want? I feel like you guys are giving me mixed signals, mixed messaging about like, how do I approach this character that is Black Noir? It's just so good. Like, the replacement of Noir is literally an actor trying to replace Noir. And he's just on board for anything. He's like, hey, that's my first time killing a guy. And it was kind of crazy, but like, I'm on board. I'm just wondering, like, how does Black Noir think about this? Does he have any music that I could listen to really get into the bones of Black Noir? And for a show that is so meta about the idea of superheroes being celebrities and actors playing superheroes and just this whole cavalcade of all these things, to have just an actor superhero replacing Black Noir who feels like he's not getting the right direction because no one gives a crap. Everyone's like, shut up, Noir. You don't talk, Noir. Noir, shut it. Just every time he speaks, he's like, guys, I just feel like you're not giving me enough to like kind of really make this role mine. And they're like, shut up, Noir. Just, utterly delightful. Truly and utterly spectacular. And I can't believe it took me like 4.5 hours to mention him, but I love Black Noir. And I feel like if he's just a running joke of that for the whole season, I'm on board. Honestly, I would be on board for him just to be this running joke of this actor who's like, guys, just kind of give me something to work with, guys. And then at the end, they kill him, and you just get a new Black Noir for season 5. Maybe go back to the strong and silent type. That would be fun. I'm really liking him. So last but not least, we have Sister Sage, who I feel like is our new season 4 big bad, our superhero big bad. Season 2, we had Stormfront. Season 3, we had Soldier Boy. And now we have Sister Sage. SSS. That is weird. Stormfront, Soldier Boy, Sister Sage. I had to say that again, just make sure. That's weird. Why are the superhero big bads all start with S? That is just, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Ironic? No, that's not ironic. I don't know what that word means. And do you know why I don't know what that word means? Because I am not Sister Sage. I am not a self-righteous, smart person. I went to call her an idiot, but that's what an idiot would say when they see someone who's smart. They go, you stupid idiot. You're actually not smart. You're not street smart. Says someone who's obviously not also street smart. Sister Sage, when we first meet her and she's just in a house filled with books, and she's like, she does like that psych mentalist situation where she's like, I see these things about you and I can read you. And Homelander's like, wow, that's crazy. Also seeing Homelander not in his Homelander superhero outfit was really weird. Like at times I'm like, wow, that superhero costume does a lot of the acting. Not in any way of taking away from him, but just when you see him dressed the way he is, when he's doing the acting, it just adds this extra element that I didn't feel like was there. So it was interesting to see him out of costume, kind of coming to someone, needing them, wanting their help. He felt kind of more, I don't know, more vulnerable than we've ever seen him before, which I guess is a choice to make him out of the suit for the first time. Except for when he's naked. We saw him that one time, probably 8 times, I just don't remember, when he's naked. But that's kind of different. That's like the boys being like, oh, sex and gore, superhero, sex and gore. This was like a character moment of like, he's vulnerable. Look at him not in the suit. I loved that. So yeah, he comes to Sister Sage and he's like, hey, you're the smartest girl in the room. I need help. I'm actually smart enough to know I need help. And I just love this addition to the 7 and the addition of this character. At first, you just go, oh, she's like a smart character. She'll be like a good girl or whatever, like go on Starlight's side, which might happen, but it really doesn't seem that way. I just love how as soon as we start to actually get to know her in any way, she's so smug and self-righteous and so arrogant. It's just such a dangerous combination of things for this person who is very, very the smartest person in the world, but she's just sitting there reading books. But so when Homelander comes and goes, hey, I got power. Do you want to like use your smarts to like maybe like do a thing? And she's like, oh, that's actually quite an interesting proposition. Like to do a thing, to use my brain to actually do something. She seems like someone who's just got so much brain activity. She's bored and she just wants to do a thing. And because she's so smart, she has this superiority complex. And so she's like, okay, us soups, we're the best. I'll help this psychopath do a thing because I'm going to use my brain for evil and stuff. I just found it so compelling and interesting to have this person who is like literally all brain and no brawn. And the guy with all brawn, no brain is like, hey, want to help me just take over the world and be superheroes or whatever? And she's like, yeah, actually, that sounds pretty dope. And she just completely takes control of the situation. She starts making all these power moves and just starts moving everything around the board. And it's just so fascinating to have this person who's like moving all these chess pieces when originally, you know, Homelander would just smash the board. Yet she's moving everything and manipulating everything in the really interesting and at times subtle and at times not so subtle ways. And it's just, I don't know, it's just like a really, really great addition to the show. I feel like the best thing about like the season 2 and 3 and now season 4's big bad superhero kind of additions is that they are fully fleshed out, completely isolated on their own great characters. But they also do something really interesting and unique and separate to each other and bring something out of Homelander, our kind of show big bad, and kind of change him and force him to be different and kind of, I don't know, manipulate him, twist him in their own unique ways. And this one is kind of, I don't know, I just feel like this is like the palate cleanse we need from the kind of brawnier, punchier ones that we've had to have one who can't punch and is using her brain entirely. I didn't think I needed it and I didn't think I wanted it, but now it's here. I'm like, whoa, hell yeah. That moment where the Deep just comes running in her last scene. He's like, I'm angry because you did a thing. And she's so smart, she knows he's going to come in. So she's prepared, like, fried food. And she mentions, like, oh, hey, Transformers 2 or whatever. Probably knowing that he knows Shia LaBeouf. And suddenly, he's won over by fried food, Transformers 2. And she's like, you're sexy. He's like, I am kind of sexy. And they have sex. Boom. Now he's back on her side. She's a genius. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to read the Deep like that, but she's a genius or whatever. I love it. I love all of it. Great show. Great first 3 episodes. I've probably missed a bunch of stuff. Starlight, she's like, it's me. A-Train's like, I'm going to turn on the 7 or whatever. I actually loved all of A-Train stuff, but there's no time. I can see the runtime in the corner of my eye, and it's far too long of a video. So everybody else I didn't mention, I loved unless I didn't. There's just no time.